What's up, guys, and welcome back to SoberTube. Today we're doing something different. Today we are talking about those steps. You keep hearing about them, now we're going to talk about them. Today we're going to start off with step number 1. Wow, I remember the first time people brought up the steps, I go, steps? I don't want to do that. Exactly. What do I know? I don't want to do anything healthy. So let's talk about it. Step 1 is we admitted we were powerless over drugs and alcohol and that our lives had become unmanageable. What is that? I remember the first time I read that thing, I go, wow, you want me to do 12 steps? Well, that's a list of 12 things I want nothing to do with. Yikes, that's the wrong attitude. So what does it mean to be powerless over drugs and alcohol, and why is my life unmanageable? First of all, chances are if you're watching this, your life is unmanageable. If you ended up in a rehab, that's like the rule. You want to go to rehab? They say, fill out this paperwork. What that paperwork is them evaluating whether you are good at running your life or not. If you were accepted into a rehab, your life's probably unmanageable. If you can't stop using drugs or alcohol, your life's probably unmanageable. If your boss is mad at you because you took off because you were using too much, could be unmanageable. If everybody in your life is mad at you because of your addiction or your using, something tells me that your life might be unmanageable. So the first part of that is we admitted we were powerless over drugs and alcohol. What does that weird statement mean? If you can't stop once you start, you're probably powerless. And if every time you try to stop, you start again, you are powerless. And that's how easy these steps are. They look so complicated when you're in rehab, and you just hide from them. You don't want to do them. And most likely no one's explaining them to you correctly, but they are so simple. There's only 12 of them. Now let me ask you a question. How hard did you work at your addiction? I remember one day I went to my sister's house and I gathered up all the pennies and the nickels and the dimes, and I went to someone else's house and I got all her pennies, dimes, and nickels, and I went to my house and I got my pennies, dimes, and nickels, and I collected all this change, and I took this big pile of change and I went over to a coin star, put all the money in the coin star, got my 40 bucks, went somewhere else, got my drugs, got my thing going on, and then I got high. Look at all the work that I put in. How many steps did it take you in a day just to get high? How many steps are you willing to do to change your life? Do not do these steps because you want to, because chances are, if you're anything like me, you don't want to do them. That's why they're good for you. In recovery, I want you to do things you don't want to do. I want you to do things that are uncomfortable. Let's see. Let's list some things that we don't want to do that are really good for us. I don't want to go to school, but what happens when I go to school? I get a degree, I get a job. It must be good for me. I don't want to go to the gym, but what happens when I go to the gym? I went to the gym once for a year. I lost 88 pounds. It must have been good for me. What happens when you eat healthy? You get healthy. You feel better. What happens when you do the 12 steps? You get sober. You went to rehab, you went to detox, you press play on this video, you want to know how to get better, you got to take suggestions. You got to do these steps. You got to do things that you don't want to do. Because when you do things you want to do, what happens? You end up in rehab or detox. Take suggestions, get it together, do the 12 steps. How hard are you willing to work to change your life? My name is Brian. Welcome to SoberTube, and I am a sober dude. I'll see you next time.
Thank you.